Hello, everybody. Just to let you know that tonight's show at windowsontheworld.net, the Collectivist Gulag, is already uploaded and it's there waiting for you to listen to right now. It's a follow-up to last week's show called the Misinformation Game, where we looked at how the public opinion and the public are controlled and steered. It doesn't matter which side of the fence people appear to be on. There is something for everybody. It's called a system of moods. Everybody is being mentored into the big hive mind, the big communitarian gulag. And if you don't know what that is, take a look at our back catalogue. And we've got articles on communitarianism and the new big society agenda 2030. We've got it all there. And we've covered it for the last 10 years. What we're going to be talking about in this show tonight, when you go and listen to it, if you do, is how the public have been hoodwinked and steered and how they continue to be divided and ruled. And those who also say you're causing division or you're being negative are part of the problem because they're not addressing the issue. You have to understand exactly what you're up against in order to have any effect. And most people have no idea what they're up against and they don't understand it. So that covers everything. It covers every part of the system of moods, whether you're for or against. Everything gets mentored into the big new hive mind. So that's what the show's about. Also, another thing is that I've got a show which I did with Stephen and Evan Strong on ancient Australia, and that will be uploaded to Odyssey tomorrow. It also goes onto YouTube, but please go to windowsontheworld.net and subscribe to us on Odyssey, because our whole back catalogue is now on Odyssey. We do not upload our Sunday shows to YouTube anymore. We do live streams on YouTube, but we've had so many of our shows taken down. We've got community strikes. I don't want to lose the YouTube channel because I can speak to people on here and tell them about the shows and tell them where to go to listen to the shows, which is windowsontheworld.net. So please go there. And I've got a lot of information that I'm going to be putting out over the next few weeks on the manufacturing of history. I hope people enjoyed that. We did a really good show as a follow-up to our manufacturing of history called The Cult of Saturn. Thanks, Mark. We'll go there now. Nice haircut. Yes, I did have my haircut the other day. It was getting a bit out of control. I'm not a vain person, but sometimes I look in the mirror and think I have lost control of my hair. Yeah, I'll warm up the cat's whiskers, catch you later. Nice one. Yeah, that's great. So just to let you know that the show is already uploaded at windowsontheworld.net live shows page, the Collectivist Gulag. There should be some information in there which will empower you, make you more vibrant, sustainable, and resilient. Yes, use their word salad against them. That's a good strategy. But I'm talking in the show about information that I put out about 10 years ago, and people are still going around in circles. I did tell these people at the time about the sustainable development plans, but everyone thought it was a big conspiracy theory. So 10 years later, they're now coming round to the fact that they had no choice in what was going on. And also another thing that came up within all this was how cowardly the public are, because these people wanted to get a judicial review for the road closures and they needed a limited company to do that. And what happened was apparently only 2 people volunteered, so they couldn't set up the company. I don't quite know how that works, but that's what they said in this newsletter. The point is this: if you are too spineless to put your name down on a company which is limited by guarantee, which has no liability at all, then what sort of people are there out there? 250,000 people in that borough. So that's how much they care about having the roads opened again. And that's the problem. Same goes with people who think they are protesting or getting involved in things that they think are going to go somewhere, which I know from experience aren't going to go anywhere. We go into that as well tonight, and we look at how the mentored change agents are everywhere. People actually, even those that think they're opposing what these people are doing, are actually using their language, and they're saying that anybody who doesn't go along with people who are clearly going nowhere is causing division, which is exactly what the other side do. So what I'm trying to say here in these last 2 shows, the Misinformation Game and this one tonight, is that both sides of the fence are steered. So it doesn't matter whether it's the public who are pro-vax or the public who are anti-vax. Remember, the globalists need the anti-globalists to implement their plans. The anti-globalists have nothing to do, so people turn up to steer them into the plans and the policies of the globalists. And that's happened with the so-called protest movement. Check out our show and article. The article at windowsontheworld.net has got lots of videos, informational stuff in there. It's called COVID Protest Social Engineers. And that tells you how the protest movement has been steered, including, of course, Occupy and this Extinction Rebellion nonsense. This is all covered in that article. We did a load of investigation into what Extinction Rebellion is. And of course, they've now appeared down in Cornwall again, haven't they? Posing about, making fools of themselves. But of course, it's the distraction that the press need because it brings things back to the climate change agenda. All of this stuff is quite simple. There is nothing complicated about what the globalists are doing. People think, oh, it's such a big plan and it's overwhelming. It's not. What they're doing is basic, simple manipulation of people's minds. And people do not get this. I really don't understand it anymore because I've had to use an example this week of social media, and social media seems to make people even worse, which is why I would never recommend my friends using it at all, because they get drawn into things of absolutely no importance. But also, if you point out that certain people might be wasting their time, then you're causing division. They also tend to do what change agents and government trained dupes do. They actually use logical fallacies against you and accuse you of things you haven't done or haven't said. Like, for instance, assuming that you have said that someone is controlled opposition when people don't really know what that means. I mean, the whole thing is controlled. All opposition is controlled. So any opposition that gets any kind of traction on this social media, they're called influencers, and they are pushed for a certain reason. So anybody who is leading you on social media or getting hundreds of thousands or even tens of thousands of hits, be very wary of them, because they're there for a reason. They wouldn't be allowed there otherwise. We have had our videos taken down. We had talks shut down. Everywhere I went in the UK, we had talks shut down, venues pulled us, the Quakers pulled us. We had all of this stuff going on, and we had to get venues at the last minute. And all this we were doing was talking about government and world government documents. We were just talking about documents that are publicly available to the public. So if you're getting shut down for telling the public about what's already available to them, then that should be an indication of what's going on. So we're talking about that in those two shows anyway. So, yeah, great. I saw your singing videos. Oh, God, are they still up there? Well, I want to do a show one night to lighten things up about all those days which have gone and passed, because sometimes I wake up in the middle of the night and think, God, I've just remembered a gig that I thought I'd forgotten about. Or do I? It's so surreal, actually, at the moment, isn't it? Because we're in times where, well, time has gone so quickly. I know time's speeding up and the Earth's magnetic resonance, so the magnetism of the Earth's falling, but the Schumann resonance has been speeding up, which means that we metabolize time differently. But I don't think it's just that. We're living in this continuum now where everything is just one big blur. And I get to Sunday and I think, God, was it 7 days ago that I did that show? It seems like it was 2 days ago. And I'm sure most people experience that. Yeah, divide and rule, don't fall for it. But we talk about people who do that, actually, Frank. They say that, oh, you're just causing division, when you're actually giving people advice and saying, well, that won't work. So people get very confused about what they're actually talking about. The change agents are like cult leaders. Well, there are a lot of cult leaders around, and they are used as cult leaders because people follow them blindly. They don't question them. And of course, in a cult, all the information has to be controlled. So people don't have access to any information outside the cult. I'm going to be doing a show on that in a couple of weeks' time about a cult that a friend of mine, now become a friend, got involved with 10 years ago. And I did some filming around these people. And they profess to be, of course, all, unity, light, and all the rest of it. But basically, they are an apocalyptic death cult masquerading as, yes, you guessed it, New Age love and light, which appeals to certain types of Westerners. Yeah. Okay, you ain't in the game unless you're in the club. Well, you can be in the game anytime you like, but those in the club are not necessarily those who are actually making decisions long term. People get chucked out of the club, don't they? I mean, it depends which club it is as well. Well, hope you enjoy the show. The masquerade continues. Yes, it does, unfortunately. But what I think is happening is that there is what I would call a priest class forming. Now, what I mean by that is people who have got a brain cell and know what's going on need to be in contact with each other. And that is starting to happen, but it's happening behind the scenes, which it must do. So why don't we take a leaf out of the books of these people who've been doing the controlling and basically keep our plans under wraps until we are about to undertake them. And this is very important. And the whole idea of what social media does is take people away from that. They put their whole lives on there. They tell you exactly what they're doing. And usually it's a time wasting and energy harvesting exercise. And most of this stuff is about time management now, because as I just said, I don't think we've got much time, have we? Not to be assuming, but yes, as 1%ers. Yeah. Yes, exactly. I'm not keeping up with some of the comments on here because this is a spontaneous little broadcast. Common purpose in planting cult leaders in all our councils. Yes, of course, but common purpose is only one organization. It's the tip of the iceberg. Take a look at Unlimited. Take a look at Crown Agents. Take a look at King's College, who are training journalists through people who are mentored into the Sustainable Development Goals, globalism, NATO, and the UN, etc. And this is happening all over. Just look at these organizations that are training journalists all over the world. These people aren't journalists. They are trained to lie, and they are trained to put over a certain point of view, and they think that's okay. So I don't think that just one organization like Common Purpose, even though they're quite an important, Common Purpose is a finishing school for change agents. They've already been through mentoring when they get to that stage. Common Purpose is like a little elite kind of get together for them when they get that last bit of overconfidence instilled in them. Look at people like Clyde Lokes, the cabinet member for the environment in Waltham Forest. We're going to be talking about him tonight. I've engaged with him many times, and he uses every dirty trick in the book to get out of what you've actually asked him, like they all do. But these people are trained and mentored. Yes, he did go on a Common Purpose course, but he was already a change agent. So the change agents are trained from an early age. They're trained into the Sustainable Development Goals at school. Yes. Well, I hope everyone enjoys the show that I've uploaded, and do listen to the Misinformation Game if you didn't get that, because I don't always advertise them on YouTube. And do please subscribe to us on Odyssey, because all of our Sunday shows get uploaded to Odyssey, all of them. They do not get uploaded to YouTube. So we've also got a Discord server where you can join a group of people who have functioning brain cells, and it gets you away from social media. I think that's quite good. If they were able to use the Freemasonry networks across the empire to control the empire, one can imagine that are well trained. Yes, well, indeed. But if you look at the history of secret societies and how they did things, and even what the Rosicrucians put out, you can actually learn from their propaganda, because the Rosicrucians were merely a good propaganda arm for something that was quite hidden. And I find that quite interesting. I don't have Odyssey. Well, you just sign up to Odyssey. You don't have to have Odyssey. It's a part of library. So if you go to windowsontheworld.net, all the links are there on the homepage. The link to Odyssey, the link to Discord, and all of our information is on the website. So great. Do join us for that show, everybody. And I'm going to be uploading more shows during the week. So, yeah, thanks a lot and good night.